There's something comforting. There's something comforting about Summer House. When it came on, I was just like, just like I don't know if it's relaxing. I don't know what it is, but there's just a comfort level to it.
There's definitely a comfort level to it. It's funny because going into
Hold
the
on, that's what's
season,
happening. Smoke's coming out of my fucking thing.
oh God, keep this in. Fireman Steel saves the day.
It's like, it's like there's fucking ash floating around the room right now, and
That's good.
I got to the bottom of it. It was my wood
Yeah,
fire stove.
good
Yeah,
job.
so glad
But
I didn't burn the house down before we talk about Summer House.
God, that could have been a great start to the episode too. Like, did they ever finish the episode? Did Steele's house burn down? Find out next time.
Find out next week.
Bros and shows. I gotta have me my bros and shows. Bros and shows. Bros and shows. I gotta have me my bros and shows.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Bros and Shows. I'm your co-host, Steele Russell, joined as always by the one and only Shooter Magooter. Call the fire department. What's up, dude? There's
Yeah,
fucking ash
seriously.
everywhere.
This is gonna be a fun episode. I started to say something in the intro, but then your house almost burned down. So I'm just gonna say it again as if I didn't say it the first time. There is a comfort level when Summer House starts up, and going into this season, I was not very excited, even with the Paige and Craig news, with everything else going on. I thought that it was just going to be a whatever. But by the end of this, I was so invested when they did the trailer for the whole season. I just can't wait for it.
Yeah, there was definitely some things like in the beginning, kind of working through it. That's what the first episode is, though, a lot. You know,
Mhm.
it's just kind of like getting us up to speed. Who's in the house? Where's everybody been? And I was comforted by that. Like, there's just something about it where it's just relaxing for some reason. But then I agree. When we got to the scenes from this season, I was like, oh, I'm fucking jacked up for this season.
Yeah.
If you're watching on YouTube and you see me doing this with my hand, it's because there's legitimately like little ashes floating around in my back room. It's smoky as shit in here, too. I should probably open a window.
Yeah, you should probably open a window. I don't want you passing out mid
I'm gonna go
podcast
open. You
because
know what? I'm
I'm
gonna go open a window. I'm gonna go
yeah,
open a
go
window.
ahead.
I'm gonna go
Go
open a
do it.
window. Stay tuned. Sorry, guys. I had to open a window so I don't asphyxiate myself on
Mhm.
smoke because I'm a moron. And I don't want. You know what? I don't need to get into it. We're here to talk about Summer House and
The old podcastic asphyxiation.
podcastic asphyxiation. Everyone's heard
Mhm.
about it. Nobody talks about it. It's a taboo thing. But hey,
It's not as fun as they say.
no, it's not. But anyway, we're here to talk Summer House, and I'm excited for this season. There's a lot of weird potential stuff.
Yeah.
If that's the right way to put it. It's
It's
just gonna be an
super
interesting season.
super funny because the way that last season ended with Lindsay and Carl and the reunion, everything was very tumultuous. We were going back and forth on who would we bring back. Do we want to just gut the show, send a bunch of them to New York, do a new Bravo show where we follow their lives in New York, which I still think is on the table. I still think that's a good idea. But by the end of last season, we wanted a lot of these people out. We didn't want to see Lindsay and Carl come back. And then in this first episode, I'm like, yeah, kind of want to see what it looks like. She's pregnant. It's kind
She
of
is
cool.
pregnant. She's very
It's kind of
pregnant.
interesting. This isn't my life. I don't give a shit. This is fun.
It's going to be interesting as shit, especially, and we'll dive into the episode like we normally do. But I do want to jump around a little bit just because the timeline is
Mhm.
interesting, obviously, and then the fact that when Carl gets to the house, it's like I was like, what is he doing outside? He's got like 15 boxes. What the fuck's going on? And it turns out he's talking to a producer because he's like, dude, I don't know how to walk into this house. And I'm like, take the show out of it for a second. How the fuck do you walk into that house? Like, what
Yeah.
do you say in that
Well,
moment? Like, hey, we were engaged less than a year ago. Congrats on the baby. Like,
yeah.
what
And,
do
and
you do?
obviously, look, at Lindsay's core, she is calculated. That Instagram post that she did after she told the whole house, this was all planned. Carl wasn't coming till Saturday morning. She knew that. Let's sit the rest of the house down. I can have a carefree, fun announcement of my pregnancy. Obviously, she was a little bit nervous going into that, which we'll talk about in a bit. But this was all because Carl wasn't coming till the next day. Let's get this out there now. I'm going to post this immediately. I'm surprised nobody called it out. Like, oh, she's getting ahead of this because Carl's coming tomorrow. This was all floating around while Carl is waking up Saturday morning, getting ready to drive up to the Hamptons. He was probably a little nervous when he woke up. Like, how am I going to handle this? Then saw the post and was like, are you fucking kidding me?
Is it better to find out that way, or would it be better if he
Yes.
walked in and saw her pregnant? It's
1000%.
better to
For
find out
us,
on
wait,
Instagram, right?
hold on. For us, it's better if he walks in and finds out.
Yeah, no, but
For
for
him
Carl,
and his psyche, yes, it's better if he finds out on Instagram because there were already rumors, as everybody kind of spoke to.
that's what I thought too. I thought that would soften the blow a little bit. It does make
little
it
bit,
awkward.
yeah.
At least you have the drive to the Hamptons to figure out like how to walk in there. But clearly that wasn't even enough because he shows up. He's like, "The fuck am I
Rattle.
supposed to do?" Like,
Yeah.
what a crazy.
Yeah, you get a
situation.
5-hour podcast to which, maybe you woke up early enough to skip some of that traffic, but get a long drive, listen to a podcast, try to clear your head a little bit. You show up, you see
guess.
that house, and you're like, ah, shit. And the weird thing is too, because we got him so late in the episode, we don't know where his mentality towards Lindsay and like their friendship, if you want to call it that, as we kind of discussed at some point in this episode too. Like, how was he feeling towards it? Was he feeling like, all right, it was better for us? Because we all agreed, all of us watching agreed, it was better for them to break up in the first place. They should not have been
Definitely.
together. So maybe he had come to that realization. If you take the pregnancy out of it, he may have been going up there a little bit clear-minded, like, all right, it can be cordial, it can be nice, it can be whatever, but this throws a huge wrench into everything. So it's got to be nerve-wracking driving up there.
Yeah, I can't imagine. But let's get into the episode, and we'll get to that part eventually. It's at the end, but a little split screen. We got Kyle and Amanda driving up, feeling optimistic about the summer, which just tells
Always.
me it's gonna be a shit show.
Yep.
That's foreshadowing 100%. And on the other side, you get Paige and Sierra, and they're just recapping, what have you been up to? And she was like, oh, I've been in Italy. Craig joined, and we made fun of him the whole time. And Sierra obviously has been on Traitors because we've been covering that. So she just got back from Scotland, and they're discussing West. And obviously that's going to be a big sticking point because it was, let's be honest, and we like West, but he handled that whole thing like absolute dog shit. And then he got to the reunion and he handled that like dog shit. So she still has every right to be mad at him, especially when she says the reasons that I'm mad. He didn't stop there. He went on the New York Times and he said some shit. He went on interviews and said some shit. He went on podcasts and said some shit. Couldn't be us.
I was like, wait, are we really going to get dropped in this first episode?
No, not yet. Oh,
I thought so.
I didn't know. I thought that maybe we'd be in the opener, but we're in there somewhere. There you go. No more hint. Yeah,
no
keep
more.
Your eyes out. Keep your eyes out.
Does that classify as a spoiler? Are people getting mad at us now?
I don't know. They get mad when we spoil things, even though we're recapping the episode. But
big
hey,
spoiler: Paige and Craig break up.
What the fuck, dude?
Right?
What the hell, man?
Lindsay's pregnant.
What? Are we gonna keep doing this? Are we good?
No, good? That was it. That's all I had.
All right, cool, perfect. Anyway, Sierra does kind of draw a line in the sand right out of the gate, and she was like, "His head's probably inflated from all the shit I've seen on social media, and I'm gonna put my dick on the table and just say that West is a loser." I'm like, I'm here for it, actually.
Yeah,
again, I like West, but you have every right to do that. Go drop your dick on the table and tell him what's up. Let him know how the summer's gonna go for multiple reasons. One, she has every right to do that, given what happened, and two, let's do this early. Right. Same with Carl and Lindsay. Let's do this now in the beginning of the summer. Let's rip the Band-Aid off so we can enjoy the summer. Yeah. Let's not have this lingering over us for the entire season. Let's knock it out. Move on. If you guys don't talk for the rest of the summer, that's fine too. But let's get the awkwardness addressed, please.
I agree with that. Especially when it's snowing outside here, like currently.
Oh, I know. Because my window's open. It's cold as shit because I decided to turn my back window into a smokehouse.
Let's get this. Let's get all the disputes out of the way in the first couple of episodes, and let's enjoy summer when it's nice and warm.
Let's make summer warm again. Is that the slogan this year?
Sure.
Not let's keep summer fun. Let's make summer warm again. I miss the warm.
The slogan would be summer. Summer's supposed to be warm, but
summer should be warm. That's a good one. But we get Jesse and West, one of our favorite bromances, and West keeps trying to sell the joint room. Jesse's like, we got our own pick. We can pick whatever room we want. We can have our own solo rooms. I want to be on the first floor. That's where the party's at. West wants the bunk bed situation. He's pushing hard for it. Jesse Solomon decides, I want my own room. West is a little upset. He's a little bummed out about that.
A little butthurt, yeah.
Now, question. You and I, Summer House, we're on the show. We bunking up?
So that's the thing. Yes, I think the answer to that is probably yes. But the thing that I always forget about, they get to go home in the interim. They're not there most of them aren't even there every single weekend. It's
Oh yeah,
just
it's
a
just 2
weekend.
days, 3
You
days.
know what I mean? Who
Yeah.
cares? Under normal circumstances, if we were going to be there for like Martha's Vineyard does what, 14 days straight, get your own
Yeah.
room. Full bore.
RIP.
Get your own room. Try to find your own bathroom too. That's the only way to be somewhat comfortable every single day.
Yeah, I agree with that. But Jesse Solomon, clean bill of health, which is amazing to hear.
Oh,
And he's ready to enjoy summer. We remember last year, it was obviously very stressful for him. He went through a whole lot. He shared it with us, but to hear that he is cancer-free is awesome. And I am very much looking forward to a carefree Jesse Solomon summer.
It's going to get him in a lot of trouble.
He's going to get in so much trouble. Yeah,
Yep.
especially from scenes from the season. He starts fucking around with Sierra. Like, that's not going to end well because she's going to fuck you up if you fuck around with her. You obviously are already into this newbie, Lexi. You're over the top with her. So I don't know, dude. I thought that Jesse was smarter than to do. I thought he just likes to play that guy, but when push comes
I
to
don't
shove,
know. Yeah, he was an interesting one last year because he started off hot going after Paige, who he
Yeah.
knew was in a relationship, and we were worried that he was just going to be another fuckboy. But West started off a little slow, and we were not worried about him, and then they just completely role reversed. So
Yeah.
maybe this is, Jesse with a year under his belt. He's just going to mess around. He's just going to have
Ooh,
as much fun as
is he
possible.
Too comfortable?
He might be getting too comfortable.
Ooh, maybe.
Yeah.
That's
Getting a little
interesting.
too comfy.
It'll be interesting to watch out for. But
Yep.
back to West and Sierra real quick. Sierra does let it slip that they met at a bar, I guess, the day after the reunion. Or West
Yeah.
lets it slip that met at a
West
bar.
did, yeah.
And I'm glad he admitted that he was caught off guard at the reunion because he looked horrible during that whole thing. He didn't have anything to say. And he feels bad for hurting her feelings, but like I just don't know if he grasps the whole situation still. Because he's like, it's been 7 months. And like, how else do you break up with a girl? It's like, not like that, bro.
Not like that.
That was the wrong
Just
way to
not
do
like
it.
that. And then also don't do anything afterwards. Just leave it there. You're
Yeah.
already like in the limelight at the reunion. You're going on podcasts. If you're going on podcasts, you're trying to fix your image, not talk about that even more and fumble around. Definitely don't do anything with the New York Times. Just, leave it maybe. Just that's it. Refuse to
Yeah,
answer questions about that. Say, you respect Sierra too much to really go too deep into it. Things like that
would have been a
probably
good
move.
reply. That would have been smart.
Pretty much anything that you did last year, just do the opposite. That would be
That's
good
a better way to put it.
Yeah.
That'll keep you out of trouble, dude. And again, he's a delight to watch on our screens. You can't sit there and say you don't like watching West and Jesse Solomon be those guys.
Yeah.
But you got to clean up the Sierra situation first. You have to admit a fault here. You have to have a one-on-one. Sierra does say at some point she's going to sit down with him and clear something up. I hope that that's the moment where he kind of like clicks and realizes like, oh, I fucked up. Like
I just have to
I'm genuinely
apologize.
sorry.
Yeah, I can
dude.
just apologize my way out of this.
Genuinely say sorry and see what
Mhm.
happens because we haven't really gotten that yet. At least we haven't seen it.
No.
But we get our newcomers, Lexi and Bailey. They arrive. They're besties because they live down the street, but she's from Toronto. So I'm assuming she moved to New York City.
That's
And
what I
now
was
they-
assuming. Unless Bailey was also from Toronto, but then she said she was from
She's
Kentucky.
from Kentucky.
So
I guess
I'm
they
assuming
live-
they live down the street from each other in New York. Yeah, let's
That
go
makes
with
more
that.
sense. That makes a lot more sense. But Jesse, out of the gate, starts flirting with Lexi. She's starting to give it back too. She's like, how old are you? He's like, I'm 31. She's like, ooh, perf. So we got early flames out of the gate. But my question to you, first impression newcomers, what do we think?
I like them as long as they're ready to have fun. I don't want them to we've seen too many newcomers just kind of fall into the same shit. Jesse and West were great last year, but in
They
the
were.
past we see even the guys will just kind of follow Kyle around, or they're a little too quiet, a little too meek. And then you get the girls who see, Paige and Amanda just kind of like sitting in bed, and it's like, oh, I'm just going to go sit in bed. I'm not going to go out. So if they are willing to have fun, that's what this show is supposed to be about. So it looks like they're ready to have some fun, and I'm into that.
Yeah, I think they're going to be good. I think they're going to be fun.
Where the hell is
Jesse-
Sam? I'm going to ask this question every year, though. Like,
I
why
don't
you
know.
get rid of Sam and you don't bring her back? I don't get it.
I don't know why Sam got the boot.
Stupid.
I think you just chalk it up to the Corey of it all.
Yeah,
I think that's
Corey ruined it.
what he ruined a lot of things. I think that's I think he ruined Winter House too. Not that Winter House is good,
I
but
hated Winter House.
I know you fucking despised it. I didn't mind it as much as you did, but
Yeah.
there's a common denominator there with Corey, so maybe that's
Yeah,
the
there
reason
is.
why. But I would be remiss if I didn't mention Jesse's pickup line. What's your middle name? Because we find out Lexi's last name is Wood. And he goes, "Oh, I thought it was Give Me." And she's like, "No, I haven't heard that before." She's heard it before. She's heard it
Yeah.
many times. Yeah, but that's the first time she heard it from him. So
That's nice though.
yeah, it was
Give him
nice.
a laugh. Why not?
Yeah, just a quick chuckle. And hey, sparks are flying. Things
Mhm.
will be interesting there.
Although I do
especially-
wonder if Jesse wasn't so tall and handsome, would she laugh at that?
Oh
Probably
no,
not.
that was a pretty privileged pickup line.
Yeah.
Definitely pretty privileged or
Gotta
height
think about
privilege.
that.
Yeah.
I hope Jesse
100%.
understands that. I hope he's
Yeah,
aware.
like put it this way: if Chris was still on the show and he did that,
Mhm.
it would come off a lot differently. I think even us watching at home would be
Poor
like, "Oh no,
Chris.
no, Chris, don't do that."
Yeah,
Poor
Chris, please don't do that.
Chris,
Please
don't
do
fucking
this,
say
Chris.
that. That's assault, brother. Like, what the- but Jesse,
Chris-
it's funny
Chris gets kicked off the show.
for lewd and lascivious comments.
Yeah.
That's exactly what would happen. But Paige and Sierra get to the house, and West is a nervous wreck. And look, Sierra won this interaction, I think, because she walks in and is giving everybody a hug. West goes to hug. We get the arm push away, pat on the
foul.
chest. Hey, bud.
Oh.
And then she skirts by him and gives everyone else a hug. Sets the table, lets him know where they still stand. So now he's going to be panicking more. I mean, you see him in his room pacing half this episode because he's too awkward to talk. So that's my whole point. I'm glad that we're getting this episode and maybe the next one where she can give it to him and let him know what's up. And I am not saying that she needs to be cool with him by any means. I just don't want this to be a recurring theme all season where we're talking about West and Sierra again after we saw it last season. I want them to both be able to have fun.
I don't think it will be because I don't think that the rest of the house thinks it's that big of a deal anymore. Like, I think that obviously Sierra, when she's talking to like Paige and, you know, maybe Amanda to some extent, they're going to say, oh yeah, how about that? Like, you do have every right to feel mean to, or like feel like you need to be mean to him the entire summer. But I feel like everybody in the house is just like, yeah, whatever. Sierra's, it's her prerogative. She can go ahead and do it. So they're not going to get bogged down by any of that. Now, West is, I forgot how nervous and like awkward he is. It is so funny. I'm
Yeah, it
sorry to
is.
him, but like, God, it's just so funny to watch that he's like pacing around his room to deal with that instead of just like walking outside or something. It's great.
No,
But
he's
I
doing
don't
circles.
think there's enough there's not enough momentum from the rest of the house towards a hate train towards West or feeding into that. They're just gonna kind of let it lie where it is. And if Sierra wants to handle it, she'll handle it. And if she doesn't, she'll just stay away from him. I don't think we're gonna
Yeah.
get stuck with it.
No, and I mean you get that from the West talk when they're all laying in bed and it's Jesse Solomon, Paige, and Sierra, and they're talking about West and
Gossiping.
but rightfully so, because we get to find out where Sierra is with it. And again, she was cool, but it was the aftermath of everything is kind of what kept this whole thing going and calls him a
Yep.
little bitch because he kept doing press, New York Times articles. He said a bunch of things in the article, such as like the relationship had run its course, XYZ, blah, blah, blah. Sierra makes the best point. And dude, say that shit to her.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like if you had just said this to her, this would be over. It probably wouldn't have gone so far south, but instead we have that horse scene from last season where you're like leading her on intentionally when she's
Inviting
asking
her
you
to
flat out.
Thanksgiving. Yep.
Yeah, bro. Like you took the wrong steps here, and then you went in the New York Times and did the right thing to the wrong person.
Yep.
Like fuck me. Hopefully he figures it out, and hopefully she gets to have the last word because she deserves that. But Gabby and Lindsay arrive, and we find out Carl's going to come in tomorrow, which is the respectful thing to do. I thought that was him being nice, so everyone could get settled. Clearly, there's still some bad blood there because she's every time he's brought up, she's reacting to it, and I'm sure she still feels a type of way.
I think
Go
she
ahead.
feels the type of way about all of her exes based on the speech that we get later, though.
Yeah, I do too. And you
Like,
would
I
think
think
that
she is one to hold a grudge over an ex that like it ended badly with.
yeah, but I would think that if you're pregnant with another dude's kid,
Just be
like
happy.
you
Yeah.
guys would be chill. Like, it would
Although
be
they broke up
awkward.
too, so who knows what's going on?
I don't even know what's going on with it. Yeah, the rumor is now that they're not together. I have no idea what the fuck's going on. Yeah, let's stay tuned. Maybe we'll get more information
We
on
need
that.
like a 12-month show on Lindsay. Like she just needs cameras with her at all times. Like,
Dude, no,
there's
she
too
needs
much
to
going
be on the Real Housewives of New York.
Yeah,
She needs to be on that show. She would be great on that cast.
I agree.
Say what you want
No,
about her.
get
She'd
rid of
be
the cast.
entertaining as shit. I'm saying the
Just
cast
Lindsay
of
for now.
Roni, period. I'm not
Oh,
saying
yeah.
the other cast members need to be there. I'm saying that's a good starting point because of what you just said. We do need cameras on Lindsay more than every weekend in the summer. Like if you had her on a Real Housewives show, I think she'd be a fucking star because
think she
she's
would
always
too,
going to
yeah.
bring the drama, dude, and she's
Mhm.
always going to lean into it. And I appreciate that about her. That's what makes her entertaining. But
Yep.
Jesse, Paige, and Sierra are having a little chit chat again, and he's asking if you think that Lexi's a bit ditzy. You think she's a little ditzy? This is a concern of his. He brings it up again later to somebody, but
To her.
I know I was being coy.
Oh, right. I thought you forgot who it was. I was
Being
like,
No. I do remember that. I forget a
Okay,
lot of
right.
things, but I remembered that one. I was just trying to be like slick with it. So thank you for blowing that one up.
that
But
is the best way to figure out if somebody's ditzy. Just ask them point blank.
Yeah. I mean, when he explains his move, I'm like, actually, that's not a terrible play. I mean, it's
Yeah.
risky, but it's not a terrible play. But Sierra gives some advice. I would listen to this. Don't shit where you eat, Jesse Solomon. Especially, it's day one, my guy. It's day one. You were the voice of reason last season, talking to
Mhm.
West. You explained a lot of the situation to him and what to try to avoid. And yet here we are, episode 1, and that begs the question, like I said, is Jesse Solomon getting too comfortable?
I think he might be
Because
getting too comfortable. Unless he
that's-
just, again, starts the summer and he's just really excited to get something going. And then he starts to kind of spread his wings halfway through. We'll have to see how it goes with all
Mhm.
of this.
Yeah.
Because I do
mean,
feel like half of it seemed to be, now obviously we have the benefit of a preview for the whole season, but I feel like half of his interactions seem to be a little jokey, like I'm going to see where it goes, but like I'm going to feed into you guys saying that I'm in love with her, things like that, sure. But yeah, we'll have to see how it goes. He might be too comfortable. He may have just blew the lid off of that one.
mhm.
Poor Jesse.
That's
Yeah.
what-
Poor
look,
West. West is going to get left in the dust.
Yeah, West is going to be solo and single. Look, I don't think that it's going to make a bad season for Jesse. I think he's so
Mm-mm.
fucking entertaining. Like even this episode, I'm like, I love this guy, but I do think that that's a risk that he's running is comfortability. But let's get to pre-dinner because a lot of this episode is splitting off and catching up. So taking notes was a goddamn disaster, but I
Yeah.
managed to do it pretty well. Jesse and Lexi are vibing. Finds out that she is single. He's also single. Bailey, who we haven't heard from a lot this episode because Lexi
Mhm.
kind of stole the spotlight. And I'm
Not gonna
I'm
lie, I
actually-
didn't even know that Bailey was in this season. I had no idea. I knew
I
Lexi
had no
was coming,
clue.
but I didn't know there was another one.
Yeah, and I hope that they give her some time. I have no idea what to even expect. I'm going to reserve judgment until she does something. 'Cause
Yeah.
She didn't get a whole lot of camera time in this one, but find out that she's kind of talking to somebody. Now, to Jesse's point, if you're using somebody's suitcase, are you kind of seeing them or that to me, and I know I don't know the dating labels, but
But
to
is this-
me, sharing luggage seems exclusive.
It seems like an upper tier sweatshirt situation. Like
That's a
you're
good way
with
to
a
put it.
girl
Yeah,
for a
yeah.
little bit, you're kind of dating here and there. She steals a hoodie. You're never gonna see that hoodie again. The thing that threw me through a loop was the air tag. Because
That's
he
creepy,
has
right?
well, it's not creepy when you think about it. I mean, he's got an air tag in his luggage to make sure that it's like on the way.
Is
it's
that
actually a
why
really
though?
smart move. I have
Is
one in my
it?
golf bag when I send my
No,
golf
I have
bag
one in my
places.
suitcase. I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
I'm saying, was that one in there? We don't know this
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah, that's a good point.
We don't
Just
know them.
Yeah, it is a little creepy.
I'm
Maybe
just
he just
saying, if
forgot it was
I'm,
in there. As long as he's not checking the location of it, and he's like, "Oh yeah, that girl has." Maybe he is checking the location because he wants the
how would you
suitcase
know?
back. I don't know. We didn't get enough information. We need to boil down on this one.
I think the air tag deserves more
Yeah.
airtime.
Wow,
Thank you so
wow,
much.
that's good. I
But
thought you were having a brain fart tonight.
I am, but even a blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while. But
Sure does.
what was I gonna say? Oh, have you ever had that where someone's air tag is near you for too long, or their AirPods are near you for too long, and your phone's like there's an air tag following you? You haven't gotten that
Yes,
before?
we had that.
Oh my
with
god, in
your
LA.
brothers.
That's right. Dude.
That was
Yo.
so annoying. It was the most annoying thing that I've ever had to endure.
Well,
And
we
your
were
brother
nervous at
was-
first.
Your brother was so aloof to the whole thing. He just kept saying, "Yeah, that is really weird. I keep getting the notification too." We're like, "What is it? It's got to be you. Check your shit." And he goes, "Oh yeah, on the keys." Like
That
yeah,
took
dude,
4 hours to figure that out.
it took
Guys,
2 days.
to everybody, oh yeah, it was
It
like
took
the
2
last
full
day we were
days.
there. We went and did our show in LA like a year ago, and we were staying with my brother who lives in Los Feliz, and he had an air tag on his keys. And Shooter and I thought to the point where it'll show you a map and
Mhm.
like where this tag has traveled to follow you. And we're like, dude, somebody's like tailing us from the airport to your house. And my brother was so steadfast on not having anything with an air tag in it. Lo and behold, I think I picked up his keys and I was like, dude,
Yeah.
is this? He goes, oh, yeah, I forgot about that. I was like, well, we thought we were getting like
We
tracked
thought
for
we were
3
being
days.
stalked
Yeah.
for 3 days. We're like, we have a live show here. Who knows that we're here? Who knows where we're staying? This is bizarre. We were
Yeah, like
checking
we're
our
even
stuff to make
worth
sure that we didn't.
tracking.
We thought that like somebody had snuck an air tag into our back pocket or something, and I'm like, I'm wearing different pants today. There's no way it's me.
We were
it was
tearing
so
things
funny.
apart like a drug dog. Like, where the fuck is this tag? I forgot that was
Yeah,
with you.
that actually, yeah. I don't know. Yeah, you could go both ways on that one though. Is this guy stalking Bailey, or is he your brother and he doesn't even realize
Is
that he
it a
has the air
Brooks
tag there?
situation? I don't know. I don't know. Hopefully, we get more
I'm
on the
even
air
more
tag. 'Cause,
confused.
dude, I'm invested now. Now I have
Yeah.
a personal tie. I want to know what's going
Uh-huh.
on with the air tag and who this guy is that's putting air tags in her bag because it could be innocuous.
Yeah.
It could be my brother.
We are. I know we're like 28 minutes into this episode, but I'd be remiss if I didn't say go Birds.
Oh, go Birds. Of course, go Birds. Yeah. Sorry, this is our second episode of the day, but yeah, go Birds. We are Super Bowl champions. We were champs for life. We're the
Sure
greatest
are.
team in the history of the NFL. So just deal with it. You're going to have to hear about it for the next year until we win
Yeah.
the next one. And then you have to hear about it again. So just suck it up and deal with it, guys, because
Yeah.
we are very, very proud birds right now. Okay. You are baby birds too. So you should be proud as well.
Should be.
Yeah. But anyway, we get to the toast in the living room. West points out, and I think there was a lot of people in that room that had the same assumption because West is like, hey, are you drinking? And she's like, yeah, my rosé's right there. Why? He's like, oh, I heard you were pregnant. I was like, no fucking way. It's like,
He actually
smooth.
pointed at her stomach too.
It's like, no fucking way. I was like, dude, stop.
Just stop talking. Like you do this to yourself all the time.
You're having a tough start, bro.
No, but that is a good point though, because there were so many rumors about it, and we were like, "Oh my god!" Like she just broke up with Carl. What is going on with Lindsay and Carl now? Lindsay's potentially pregnant. She's got a mystery man. What the hell's going on? I forgot that they were like pretty much filming at that point when we were talking.
Yeah,
about this.
dude. Well, she was
So I'm
pregnant at the
sure everybody
reunion.
in the room. Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, she was pregnant at the reunion. So I'm sure that everybody sitting in that room is like, "Oh, we've heard the rumors. Let's hear what this is." There's only one way to throw people off your trail.
Start
Have
8
a-
years ago.
Have a 25-minute toast.
8 years ago, I met a guy. 7 years ago, I met another guy. 6 years ago, I met Heyman. Turned out to be an asshole. 5 years ago, I dated Carl. What a disaster. That's not even the one we're talking about now.
Oh god.
Foreshadowing, maybe? But 4 years ago, we had Stavi in the sandwich situation. I'm going to go make you a sandwich. When's the last time you made me a sandwich? That one's an iconic one. 2 years
one's
ago,
great.
we skipped year 3, by the way. Went
Yeah.
straight to 2 years ago. Carl proposed.
Well, year
Kyle
3
points-
was when she was trying to make out with Austin. So
Oh, you're right. She didn't put that one in there. That's an important one. Year
you
3
got to
is
put
the-
that one in there. She probably didn't want to piss off Sierra. I
Yeah, oh,
guess.
that's a good point. Yeah.
Let's not
that's a
do
good
this
point.
again.
Yeah. Year 3 was the Austin shit. Year 2, Carl proposed, which Kyle points out, and he was right. He's like, Jesus, that was 2 years ago. And I was like, fuck, that was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And then last year, I was the way she says it, I was broken up with out of nowhere. So clearly she's over it. Like clearly
Yeah.
clearly
She's not
no
thinking
longer
about that
bothered.
anymore.
No, she's no longer bothered by that whole thing. And she's like, and that leads me to today. If anybody in that room was still curious as to what she was about to say, they're dumb. You had
Yep.
to know that the pregnancy announcement was coming. That being said, congratulations to Lindsay. Like, I don't want to take away, I don't want to yuck her yum. She's pregnant. She's wanted to be a mom. I do think she's going to be a great mom. It's super exciting. Jesse Solomon's reaction to the point that West is like, dude, smile. And he's in the back like this, like looking around for help. And I'm like,
all of the reactions were so good too. And look, I do like that we got pre-speech, her a little nervous, and then afterwards we get her calling what the fuck's his name? Hudson
Turner. Hudson. It's one of those.
Turner.
It's in the same Turner, Tucker, Hudson.
Yeah.
That kind of brand of name.
That kind of thing. Yeah. Like what if like Madison's probably going to name her new baby something along that, because Hudson's her son, right?
Exactly. See that's
so
still
perfect,
in the same framework. There's some other ones that you could throw in there.
Definitely some more. Anyway,
Nathaniel.
So she calls him, discusses everything, and she actually did seem nervous, and she seemed a little relieved after doing all of it. While she's up there, we get everybody's true reaction,
Yes,
which
we do.
was just hilarious because nobody's actually mad about anything. They're all just kind of seeing it for what it is. Like, oh, okay, this is pretty fucking crazy. By the way, what's the baby's last name? Do we have a
and
last
they're
name?
like, don't do that. Don't do that. Like,
If you're West, like you got to be treading so carefully. I do like that he's just mostly being himself. He's not treading that carefully.
no,
But
he's not treading carefully at all. What are you talking
for his
about?
own well-being, he should probably tread carefully.
Yeah, he's not though. But I don't think he knows any other way. It's endearing
No,
in some
it
way.
is
He's
endearing.
just like, bruh. You're like, bro, reel it in just a smidge. But
Just a bit.
we're gonna point these moments out because while we're watching this, we are also watching Southern Charm. And I think
Mhm.
between the two of them, we're going to get a lot of information. I think the other interesting part is we're going to see it from two different sides, which I like actually, because you're going to get Craig on one hand and we get to see that, but you're going to get Paige on this one and her inner thoughts. So I think that I don't know if they did it on purpose. I'd imagine somewhat they tried to coincide it, but it will be interesting to kind of get both parties talking about it. And then at the end of each season, we're going to see where it leads to and how it all kind of
Mhm.
fell apart, because as we know, they broke up on Thanksgiving. So I'm curious to see kind of how they're both talking about it. If we get to see those pivotal moments, such as what we saw in Southern Charm with the conversation at the bee farm, where that seemed like a pivotal moment between the two of them, where it's like, ooh, things are taking a turn here. So I wonder if we are also going to get any kind of timeline as to when those dates are. Like, we definitely need a flow chart for this one. Like, because we're on July 4th
We're in July.
in Summer House.
Yeah.
Where are we in Southern
July,
Charm?
Summer House. Southern Charm is the springtime, so it's probably, let's say, May.
Okay.
Ish. Just because I knew that they started to film like the end of March, early April, and we did have a bit of at least something on the screen that said 5 weeks ago when Craig was talking
Right.
to Austin and Shep about having kids with Paige. So
Right.
yeah, I'm gonna say around May for that. So
May?
I'll try my best to keep my eye on it.
Yeah, and if anyone knows,
Summer House
let
is
us
way
know.
easier to figure out because
Yeah,
they
because it
celebrate
starts July
the
4th
holidays.
and it's a weekend, and then there's a holiday. Yeah, so that one we can keep track of. We'll try to do our detective work, put on our Sherlock Holmes hat, and figure out what the date in Southern Charm is, and then that'll make this a lot more interesting. Just who's doing what and when. But
Yeah.
as they're walking outside, speaking of the moments that we're looking for, Paige is like, man, the minute that she said I'm pregnant, I knew I was not ready for kids, because I was like, oh, thank God I'm not. And I'm like, oof, knowing what's going on with Craig, like, that's tough. It's tough. Again, as we said in Southern Charm, that's her right. She's not ready for children. It's just knowing the relationship she's in. It's like, oh, this could be an interesting season. And that's what I alluded to in the beginning, where it's like, there's a lot of weird shit going on this year. Like, there's a lot of moving parts and a lot of strange relationships going on in this house. I think it's going to be a different summer than we're used to. And I think because last summer was so much fun, other than the Lindsay and Carl stuff, and that's a huge testament, honestly, to the newcomers last year, I think it gives room for a little more drama this year, where we can get into it a little bit. But I don't, to your point, always keep summer fun. Summer's supposed to be fun. I want the fun. I'm just saying I'm open to some weird shit going on.
I think it's enough weird shit that we're not going to have the entire house enamored with some drama going on.
Yeah.
Like, people are going to kind of like find their own way out. And I think really what it took was Obviously, the injection of new blood, which, you know, you throw West and Jesse in there last year. They were a lot of fun until West wasn't that fun with Sierra. But the two of them, for the most part, were very fun. You get two more newbies in, kind of balances it out with two girls. And mostly last year, during all of the Carl Lindsay stuff, you saw people just kind of like skirt out of there. We're not going to be part of this. We're going out and we're going to
Yeah, as
stay
they
out.
should have, by the way.
Yeah, we're gonna stay out all night and we're gonna let Lindsay and Carl just kind of deal with their shit. We're not gonna get bogged down with that. Whereas 2 years ago, everybody in the house was constantly talking about Lindsay and Carl. What's going on? Are they gonna get engaged? What the hell? They're fighting every single weekend. This is really awkward. And it ruined the show because they were just too
Yeah.
stuck on it. But now it seems like they found a way to be able to balance that. So hopefully that continues.
Yeah, I agree with that. But we get to hibachi, which I've always wanted to do this too. The hibachi
Yeah.
at a house. I've never done it before.
Anytime we
Like,
see it, you always talk about it. Yeah.
I know, because I want to do it. No one's ever thrown me a hibachi party. Where's my pizza party? Bitch.
My birthday's next week. You can throw me one in your backyard, right in the cold.
Fuck your birthday. That's my anniversary. That's the whole
It was
reason.
my
You thought-
birthday first.
You thought that we were doing that because we were like, oh, happy birthday. No, it's so I could take over your fucking birthday. I own your birthday now. February 18th is my day.
I had cake, birthday cake at your wedding.
We sang happy birthday to you on the dance floor and gave you
Yeah.
a cake.
Yeah.
Yeah, if that's not
You
love,
were
I don't know what
stealing
is.
it. Yeah.
Guess who owns the day now? The Russells do. It was all a play, and you fell for it, hook, line, and sinker. But yeah, if anyone thinks that I'm mean to this guy, we did. We literally sang happy birthday to him at our wedding and gave him a cake because that's what he means to us, even though he's an idiot. He's
And then
our
I got
idiot.
to kiss the groom. What?
Dev doesn't know about that, dude. What the fuck? What happened to not talk about this ever again? Where was I? Lexi and Jesse, once again. We find out more about Lexi, her background. She is a model. She started modeling when she was like 10 or 11. She's lived in Paris. She's in New York now. She did finish high school online. And you can tell that Jesse's negging her a little bit. Like that's the route that he's going. He's trying to mess with her. I did not know that that's his game. That's what he does. He kind of pushes buttons to see how far that line is. And then he oversteps it intentionally. Then he reels it back and he acts super nice. And that's with the, would you describe yourself as ditzy? To her face. And she's very taken aback. She's like, what? Me? Like, what the fuck?
No.
Not
Would
at
there
all.
be any other answer? No.
I don't know. I mean, maybe she would have been like self-deprecating, been like, yeah. But maybe there was some dits in the beginning. I will say when she's talking to Bailey when everybody goes out later and she makes a point to be like, I want him to know that I'm like multifaceted. I'm like, fuck yeah. I'm like, you stand by that. Make sure
Yeah.
he knows that you're not ditzy, even if you have
You're
a
not a
ditzy
ditz.
moment. Yeah, let
Yeah.
him know. He's not gonna paint you into a corner. Nobody puts baby into a corner. So you let him know. Don't let Jesse Solomon woo you this quickly. Just because he's a tall,
I don't know
lanky,
who's
charming
getting wooed.
bastard.
I think Jesse's getting wooed more.
He's enamored with her, but that's what's
Yeah.
gonna lead to some shit in this house, dude. I
Oh,
think
yeah.
that Sierra, take Sierra's advice. Don't shit where you
Mhm.
eat. It's gonna get messy. Definitely don't drag Sierra into it, which is what it looks like at the scenes from,
leave her
from the rest of
alone.
the season. What are you doing? If that's a thing,
She had so much stress from traders. You can't do
yeah,
that to her.
dude. If that's a real thing, I'm going to have to rethink some things when it comes to Jesse Solomon. That would be a massive misstep and kind of fucked up because he's friends with her and he really knows because he's been a party to both sides of that debacle. So
Oh, yeah.
he should know better. So I'm very curious where that one's going to go. But we find out who we is in regards to Lindsay and her baby daddy, and his name is Turner. They met this is when I get confused. Okay,
Yeah.
it gets confusing. They met 3.5 years ago. They went on a few dates. He called it off, texted her out of the blue, right? Sierra points out what everybody's thinking. It's a bit soon, no? And she starts doing the math. So they got done in September.
Mhm.
She is 18 weeks pregnant.
Yep.
What's 18 divided by 4? 4.2. 4.2 meaning 4.5.
Yep.
I was saying 4.2 as in 2 out of 4 weeks before everyone calls me stupid. Okay. I knew what I was doing there. So 4.5 months, right? And it's July. So that means she was pregnant in March.
Mhm.
So September, October, November, December.
Dating. They started dating in December.
So 6 months between end of
calling off the wedding
engagement,
and getting
getting
pregnant.
pregnant. And
Yep.
I am not here to judge. I don't give two fucks if that
We're
was
just
the
trying
right
to get our
move for her.
timeline in order.
Correct. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, she's happy, she's pregnant, she wants to be a mom, she's wanted to be a mom. It looks like she finally is a mom. Kudos to her. Seriously, do not care. Just trying to figure out this timeline, and if people are going to be valid in saying, yo, this is kind of fast, as
Mhm.
their friend, that's a valid thing to say. Hey, it's pretty quick. And it is, especially the only alarming thing to me, honestly, is her reactions to Carl. I know it's going to be
Yeah.
raw. I know it's still fucking weird, but you are literally pregnant with another dude's kid.
Yeah.
Do they need to have a sit down? Is that what we're going to get to?
No.
Where it's like, let's just, you don't think?
I don't want to see it. I really don't
Just to
want to see
clear
that
the
at
air so they
all.
can stop?
I don't think they need it. I don't think I want to see it. I don't think anyone wants it. It's just they shouldn't have to do it. Like you said, you are pregnant with another guy's kid. You're seemingly very happy. We don't know what the hell's going on right now, but at the time you're seemingly very happy and you're finally going to be a mother. How about you just let Carl lie where he is? He's going to avoid you. He's going to be very awkward about it. He's going to make a couple of comments. Just ignore him. You're happy. We don't need
That's
to do
kind of
this.
my
I
thought
just don't think
process.
we need to do it.
But I don't think it's within her to not. I don't mean that in
know.
a negative way.
But I also
that
think it's like disrespectful to your current relationship. You're going to go
That's
talk and
kinda
have a
what I'm
sit down with
saying.
your ex about it? Like, no.
Oh, not that part. I think that part would, at least I want to see that just for my own mental
Ugh.
clarity, just to be able to be like, all right, boom, we talked about it. You go that way, I'm going to go this way. But at least when we're in the same room, they're not going to take random shots at each other, which I do think we're going to get that for a couple weeks. And I do not want to hear
Yeah.
that, where one of them leaves the room and the other one makes a comment about them. And I'm
Mhm.
not saying that's
don't
only
think-
Lindsay. I think they're both going to do that.
I think Carl's going to do it like to Kyle quietly. Kyle and Amanda probably.
Yeah, maybe. I don't
Like,
know. This is
I
a
don't
very
know.
strange situation. It's very
Yeah.
strange. Like, I don't know how you act in this. I don't
It's so
think
funny
anybody knows
because
how you act in
again,
this.
last year we were saying we need one of them gone and it might be Carl or it might be Lindsay because she's pregnant. Who knows what's going to happen? Now I kind of like it. I want them to be awkward in the house together. This is what
Oh.
reality TV is all about, putting people in situations that they would never be in real life. This is great.
This is definitely one of them. This is
Mhm.
absolutely one of them. But we get to the night. Some of the crew's going out, some are staying in, and most are staying in actually, which didn't love that. Especially with the newcomers. I want them to go out and
First
mix it
night,
up. I wasn't
yeah.
thrilled. Night one, you should be jacked up, ready to go. And it wasn't. There's a lot of bed. A lot of bed.
Yep.
Like way more bed than we've seen on night one in the past.
Mhm.
And that's alarming. I don't love that.
Yeah.
Okay. But I do like this. And it's also starting my timer of how long will this last? Because it will not make it to the end of the summer. That I do know. But Kyle's like, I want to give my wife what she needs to be happy. I'm going to stop using summer as my big release. I'm like, that is the
Good.
most self-aware thing you have ever said.
Yeah.
And I'm proud of you because that's the
I'm
correct
going to
answer.
fill up her and her friend's water before I go out. And
It's
I'm
a
going to
start.
come home at 2. I'm going to be the first one home. And I know the funny
Great.
part is, that conversation at the bar, like he's still having fun. And look, I mean, he came home at 2, but as we just said, it's the first night of the summer that you guys are there. Go have fun. Go enjoy yourself. Amanda's probably not going to be mad at you as long as it's not 4. The conversation at the bar before he left was probably, boys, you got to hang back for like 20 minutes. I'm taking an Uber home alone. I'm showing up so that I can say I came home before you and it's 2:00. He came home
Yep.
like right at 2:01, I think it was. It's great.
2:03, they got back at 2:23. So the timeline fits. It was exactly 20 minutes on the
Mhm.
nose. So did that happen? Probably. Does it
Mhm.
matter? No, we don't have camera footage. So lean into it. Again,
Yeah.
it just starts my timer. How long is this going to last? I hope for the entire summer. I am not confident at all.
Yeah.
Because we talked
Yeah.
about it all last year. That was the most blaringly obvious thing that we saw was
Mhm.
like, dude, you got to be
Just make
better for your
some
wife.
sacrifices.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're not doing shit. And then when she asks you to make a sacrifice, when she's made
Mhm.
a million, you tell her that her dreams don't matter and that she needs to support you. So I was
Yeah.
hoping that we'd see this, Kyle. We get it episode 1. I hope it continues for his sake, for our sake, for Amanda's
Yep.
sake, for everybody involved's sake. My confidence level is low, but that's the good thing, I guess, is if he disappoints me, it's not going to be that disappointing because I'm expecting it. And if he doesn't, he'll surprise me, and that'll be nice.
That would be
Isn't that
nice. I would like a
nice?
nice surprise from Kyle this summer.
Yeah, me too. I'm not
Wouldn't that
confident,
be
but we'll
nice?
see.
Yeah, let's hope.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. But a little bit more from Paige. as she's discussing the future, and she's like, I used to think there was this path, like you get married, you have a kid, you get a job, which is actually, I think a lot of us have that idea of like
Mhm.
what being a grown up looks like. And I still don't feel like a grown up, and I have 2 children. So
Yeah.
I don't know what that timeline looks like. So I agree with her there. And again, as we
Oh,
said in
you
our
know why
Southern
though? It's
Charm,
because you've never had an outside hibachi party. Once you have one of
that's
those, I
probably
think you'll
why.
feel like a grown up. Yeah.
Well, there's only one way to find out. Come on, man. Throw me a fucking party.
Birthday.
Throw me a hibachi party. Not one that I have to cook.
No. I don't want you to have to do that. That would be mean.
Thank you. Yeah, it would be mean. You're trying to figure out how to set that up now. Fuck you.
Yeah.
I'm not
yeah.
doing it. If I show up to my own
Surprise!
hibachi
your
party
apron.
and you're like, here's your apron, I'd be really upset.
I
I would
got you
do
this
it.
really cool hibachi hat. Here you go.
Oh, see, now you're talking my
That'd be
language.
sick.
You
I
might
know.
have convinced
You
me.
like a good themed hat.
I do love a good theme hat. So you might have convinced me to
Mhm.
do it there. But again, she reiterates, Craig's ready for all these things. I am not. And you can't falter. That's what we said in Southern Charm. There's just clearly 2 people on 2 different paths. But anyway, we get to the morning. Gabby
Mm-hmm. Gabby
shows
might
up.
have a good summer.
Gabby is off to a great start. This is a Gabby that, I think, because we saw her progression. Remember year 1, she was very, very quiet. She was very reserved, didn't want to do a whole lot, had to get her feet wet. Last year, we saw her mix it up. Really enjoyed her for a lot of the season. When the Lindsay and Carl stuff started, it got a little murky, but I do understand she was just trying to protect her friend. Can't fault her for that.
Yep.
Now we're seeing, I think she's comfortable now, but not Jesse Solomon too comfortable. She's just ready to have a fun summer, which I think we've all been waiting for. She shows up. She's got a roster, and one of the dudes lives 30 minutes away. She takes a shot at dudes in America, but hey, what are you going to do? And I'm excited. I'm excited to see where this goes. I want
I
Gabby
think
to
she
have a great
realizes
summer.
that like she can kind of do whatever you want. Like you don't have to stay in the confines of the house. You don't have
No.
to follow everybody else. You don't always have to be doing these cast things. If you're out and you see somebody that you want to hook up with, go on ahead. Summer's supposed to be fun. Go enjoy yourself. I think
Damn
that's
right.
what she was doing. She's been getting last year we saw her. She was obviously, Lindsay's right-hand woman. She was always around her. She's still got a good friendship going on with her. But you can do your own thing. You can go have fun. We want to see you have fun. We want to see you thrive. I want you to do this exact thing a couple weekends in a row and have somebody ask you, like, what the hell's going on? You're not hanging out with us. And call them boring. You know what you do?
Yeah.
Call them boring. You guys are just going to sit in your bed. I want people to start bullying the bed people because that's not what this show's supposed to be about.
No, we had 6 bed members in night 1.
I know.
That's unacceptable. Summer's supposed to be
way
fun.
too high.
That's too high for night 1. That's way too high for night 1. And you know what? Even more credit to Gabby for going out, because she used to be in the bed. Now she's out and about. I fucking
She went out with
love
the
that.
boys. Went out
Damn
with the boys.
right.
Didn't come home until the next morning. Love it.
Absolutely. It's fucking awesome. Good for you, Gabby. But we get to the poolside the next day. And, again, Kyle's trying to make an effort. He's telling the boys, I'm trying to make an effort. I want to be better. I want to be there for Amanda this year. It's like, good, dude. That's honestly what marriage is. You shouldn't have had to wait until now to show up for your fucking wife.
He is
but at least
talking
you're
about
doing
it a
now.
lot, though. He's talking
He
about
wants
it a
people
lot.
to know that he's
I
doing
know.
it finally,
Yeah.
which is
Look, if he sticks to it, fine. Talk about it all you want.
Great, but just don't be a dick, bro. Just don't be a dick. But Jesse's in love with Lexi, which is cute. It's a bad idea. It's all bad. It's bad. It's all bad. But it's going to be interesting to watch how it blows up inevitably, because we've seen this formula. We know how this goes. We watched it last year with Sierra. We've watched it in summers past. We watched it with Corey and Sam. You can keep going. Carl and Lindsay. Like, this is the formula of Summer House. 2 people in the house hook up. Shit goes wrong. Shit gets weird. Somebody ends up leaving the show. That's even more of a testament to Lindsay and Carl, that they both did show up, and they continue to show up despite the fact that it's so weird, because we've seen cast members leave all the time when shit gets weird. Either they get kicked off or they just don't show up. So I will give kudos to both of them for that. But that's when Carl arrives. Carl, so nice to see you.
Good to see you.
And obviously, it's awkward as shit. We talked about it already. He talks to
Yeah.
the producer, finds out that she's pregnant via Instagram. You know, he goes into his confession. He's like, I'm still processing and healing, and I hear that she's fucking pregnant. It's just awkward. It's so
Mhm.
awkward. And I know you don't want to see the conversation, but the only way I see getting past the awkwardness, which I don't want an awkward house all summer, is if they're able to just sit down and be like, I'm happy for you, Linz. That's great. You're pregnant.
I think he
Thanks,
can do
Carl.
that, and I think he can accomplish that without sitting down one-on-one. I just don't think that
It
that
doesn't
needs to
have to be
happen at
drawn
all.
out.
Yeah, I just don't think it has to happen at all. I think he can just say it in a group setting. But look, the one thing I will say about Carl coming in and saying that you're still processing and healing,
Interesting move.
I don't like that
Yeah,
at
it's
all.
an interesting move.
Dude, it's
Yeah.
been like 10 months and you broke it
She's
off.
pregnant.
She's pregnant. No, there's no more
Yeah.
processing and healing going on there.
He could have done himself a lot of
These are
favors by just being
trigger
like,
words.
well, this is fucking weird. Like that would have been funny.
That
Like,
would have
there's
been
no-
funny.
Yeah, like something like that. Like Jesus, this
Dude,
is
go
awkward.
in and go in and grab the picture of the baby and go, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, or just pull a Will Ferrell from the other guys. Whose baby is this?
Go right out to Amanda and be like, oh my God, are you guys pregnant? Just play
Yeah.
dumb. That
Just,
would be
like,
so funny.
That would there was a couple of moves, but I agree with
Yeah.
that. There's a tough way to enter the house. You didn't have to
Yeah.
do that because
That would
guess
be
what?
so
Your
funny.
feelings are hurt. She's still pregnant.
Just if he walked in and said that, like, oh my God, who's pregnant? And then looks at Lindsay and just goes, yeah, no, I know you're pregnant. Just kidding.
Yeah.
Congrats though. And then walk
No,
away.
you know
That'd
what?
be great.
He should like her
Break the ice.
Instagram post and
From the
then do
bathroom?
that. So that from the bathroom while he's gathering himself, like the post so that she knows you know, and then walk
Mhm.
out and cause a scene. Whose baby is this? Who's pregnant?
Yeah.
And then make it a whole different thing and drag everyone else in because you know
Yep.
that Amanda wants kids and be like, Amanda, he finally did it. Good for you, Kyle. You finally stepped up. He could have caused chaos when he walked
All
into
it
that
took was
place.
Kyle becoming a DJ and you're finally pregnant. Good for you
Yeah.
guys.
Like that would have been great. He had so many options. There
Yep.
were so many options there.
God.
West, Sierra, what
Oh,
happened?
Jesus. That would be the best one. That would by far be the best one. Yeah.
That's my point. He had so many choices. He could have come in on a fucking heater, but instead, nah.
Oh, man.
No, but it's gonna be weird. I hope it's good. Like I'm excited, especially after seeing the scenes from this season at the end of the episode. I'm excited, but it's definitely gonna look differently than what we're used to. And
Yeah.
the only thing that worries me is the times that this show hasn't fit the mold, the quote unquote
Mhm.
mold of Summer House. It has not been great.
Yeah.
So that worries me slightly.
Yeah. I'm not really sure. Obviously, the preview hints at potentially Jesse flirting with Sierra, which I'm sure is just like a nothing thing. Like he
I
flirts with
really hope
everybody.
so. I really
And then
hope
it
that's
could
not a
just be
thing.
Lexi like misreading that. Maybe it's just it blows over quickly, hopefully, because I don't really want to see a whole lot of that.
I do kind of want to see
wanna
Lexi go
see
at
it.
Sierra because
Yeah.
she's not ready for that smoke.
No, she's not ready for that smoke at all. And also the rest of the girls in the house are closer with Sierra, so that's not really going to work out that well. The funniest thing is watching Summer House, and at the end of Summer House, we get the mid-season trailer. At the end of the mid-season trailer, we get 6 months later, and it's
Mhm.
Craig talking about the breakup. At the end of the Summer House preseason trailer, we get 4 months later, and it's Paige
Wait,
talking
that's
to
it.
There's
There's our
it's a
timeline.
2-month gap. That's why I
Okay.
said May. Yeah, that's
Well,
why I
you didn't
landed
say
on
that earlier. Oh, you just wanted to keep this
yeah.
to yourself and then drop it.
Yeah,
You sounded smarter earlier.
respect the game, buddy. But yeah,
Don't hate the
I just
player,
I
hate
love
the
the
game.
parallels. We talked about this when we heard that they broke up, that there's going to be a lot of parallels towards the end of Southern Charm, towards the beginning of Summer House. So we're just gonna have to see how it all plays out and just kind of put the pieces of the puzzle together, just try to figure it out. Put
I
our
love a good
detective
puzzle.
caps on. I know.
Love a good puzzle, as you know. So
Oh yeah.
not puzzle. I like crosswords.
Yeah, I'm not a
crossword
big
guy.
puzzle guy. I don't really have
No,
the patience for that,
crosswords,
but
I'll fuck up
crosswords,
a
yeah, I'm
crossword.
in. Yeah, hell yeah.
But yeah, we don't have any questions because we were fortunate enough to see this a little bit early. So we will get your questions next week. This episode's dropping right after the episode airs. So if you're listening to us now, you are an early bird. If not, you're listening to us in the morning. Hopefully you enjoyed the episode. And yeah. Here's to hoping. that it's a good season.
Here's
I can't
here's to the Birds,
go
the
Birds.
best team ever.
The best team in the history of any team, any sport.
Any
There
sport.
has never been a better team than what we saw on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
And I thank God for the Philadelphia Eagles and the parade on Friday
Oh, parade day.
and Broad Street and cheesesteaks. You got anything else?
Nope.
Go Birds.
Go Birds.
That's our new sign off. Bros
Yeah.
and shows.
Forever.
No, just go Birds now.
Forever.
Because
Yeah.
we're the champs. Bye. Go Birds.